Have you ever wanted to make more money? Have you ever wanted to get a raise? Hi, my name is Kevin Hackett, CEO and founder of GrowFrom. And here we talk about all the things that help us grow. Today, we're going to take a look at one of the programs that I've taken over the last couple of years called Negotiation Mastery. It's a course offered by Harvard University, and it is one of the most spectacular programs you can invest in. So what we're going to do today in this video is we're going to take a look at the Harvard Negotiation Mastery course as it's available online. We're going to talk about some of the benefits that you'll get from it. And I'll share with you some quick stories of how I've benefited from it personally. Let's take a look at Harvard Negotiation Mastery on Harvard's website. Okay. So here taking a look at the Harvard Negotiation Mastery, and this is the video that they introduced with. This is the teacher for the course.
Don't try to adopt somebody else's negotiation strategy. What works for you may not work for somebody else.
There are definitely different facets of negotiation that go into being a public official like a mayor.
The other side will give you a lot of latitude and will really be willing to work with you if you're respectful and even deferential.
Enhancing your negotiation skills has an enormous payoff. It allows you to reach agreements that might otherwise slip through your fingers. It allows you to expand the pie, create value, so you get more benefit from the agreements that you do reach. It also, in some cases, allows you to resolve small differences before they escalate into big conflicts.
You know, you have a legislative body, I have 11 city councilors, and there's a negotiation. That's the system. That's the way it's supposed to work.
In my view, negotiation is something that I am doing not in my job, but every minute of my life.
You negotiate customers, vendors, even with your own colleagues. We'll show you techniques for maintaining your poise and focus, even in heated moments.
I want as much information on the table and on the surface as possible.
The course is highly interactive. All told, you'll hear from 24 negotiation scholar teachers and negotiation experts. And you'll also do plenty of simulations and exercises along the way. We're looking forward to sharing what we've developed with people all over the world.
So that's the program. The program is $1,750. It does go through 8 weeks. So each week you're going to have lessons that you're going to go through. You're going to have negotiations to prepare for. So on the syllabus, they have the first one, which is the zone of finding possible agreement. That's the range of what is the minimum you're willing to accept. What's the minimum your opponent or your negotiating other is willing to accept, so that you can understand if there's even room for negotiation at all. Then they'll show you how to take a creative view of the negotiating process. How do you look at not just the straightforward negotiation? So for example, typically people, when they look at salary, they're thinking the dollar number, but there's so much more to negotiate, whether it's time off, whether it's opportunities for growth, whether it's professional development that you want invested in. There are a lot of aspects to your job that are much more than just the salary. And so there's creative ways you can negotiate those to increase your overall value, even if the actual salary number is more difficult to change. And this can be found in all types of negotiations. Understanding the process, tactics, styles, and emotions of negotiating. So, as you know, if you get really excited and you're in somebody's face, that can be a style of negotiating. If you're very laid back and in control and just listening, that can also be a style. They'll talk about a story in this section where a gentleman kept his composure throughout the negotiation and ended up receiving an offer that was so much higher than what he was anticipating to get. He wouldn't have gotten that if he had lost his cool. And the fourth module here, forging agreements within groups and organizations. So they're going to talk about how you can work together with large groups of people to help build up consensus or bring them to a place where they can agree with one another. Obviously, negotiation, if it's a skill that you can learn, it can be so beneficial in life. And it's not necessarily about who gets more. You learn that through the course. You learn that there's different styles of negotiation. There's different times to be a tough negotiator and times where you have to be a little bit softer of a negotiator. And it's going to put you on both sides of the fence when it comes to negotiations so that you can really get a feel for what it's like to be on the receiving end or the giving end from positions of power. You're going to also have case studies. And in these case studies, you will receive some information about what it is you're going to negotiate. For example, there was a case study about a small time bed and breakfast who was negotiating against a big time coffee shop, and they were trying to negotiate a land agreement. And so you'll either be on the side of the coffee shop or you'll be on the side of the bed and breakfast trying to figure out the right answer for this. And each side has their own special information, if you will, things that they're withholding from the negotiation table, information that's secret to them that makes their motivations less obvious to the other person. And so at the end of the day, when you kind of come back together and you see what information the other side had and what they were thinking in terms of the negotiation, you come to really appreciate just how complex negotiations are and how important it is to get the right information and to have the right approach with it. The Harvard Business Program itself is going to be online driven. So you're going to have a portal that you log into, and you'll get the videos for your session. You'll get little training exercises for the session. You'll be able to enter, well, this is my favorite one. You'll be able to enter the results of your negotiation. So you'll have a Zoom, likely, conversation with a counterpart for negotiation. You and your counterpart will go at it for the negotiating process, and you'll say you want 100, he'll say he wants 150, and eventually you guys will come to settle in on what are the core elements of this negotiation. Well, then you can input these negotiating results into the online platform, and it's going to compare your results against the rest of the people in your cohort. So you can actually see, did I get a better deal or did I get a worse deal than everybody else? I remember there were times where I thought I got a great deal only to find out that I got absolutely hosed. Other times I did pretty well. So it was a lot of fun to understand it. And then once you saw the other side's point of view, you can realize, oh, I got hosed because I didn't even think that this was important to them, or I didn't think to ask if this was important to them. So there's a lot of value in that process. So a quick story on this, a quick personal story on this. Shortly after taking the negotiation mastery course, I was approached by a senior executive in my company, and he wanted me to head up a very important project. Now, normally what I would do is I would just say yes, and I would figure out how to juggle it across my day-to-day work, enjoy the fact that I was having the added prestige, the trust, and the added experience that came with the project. But I also understood that it was going to be a big commitment on my time. And I really wanted to do it well. And I really wanted to focus on this one and move beyond the work that I'd been doing. So I took the opportunity to say, look, senior executive, I really love that you positioned me to take the leadership of this role, but you understand it's going to take a lot of time from me. I mean, it's going to take a lot of focus to make this successful. Do you think it would be worthwhile for us to get another employee involved on the team who could take on some of the day-to-day activities that I typically do while I lead this project for you? Just like that, I had successfully negotiated growing my team, And as an added benefit, giving myself the time and energy to focus on this really important project to give it my all. If you're not sure if negotiation mastery is right for you and you want to get a taste of the negotiation mastery course, there is a free trial available online. So if you go in here, if you do sign up for the course, what they will, or even if you just sign up in here for more info, what they will likely do is share with you this conflict off the ring, the NHL negotiations. This is a negotiating teaser, if you will, that you can go through before ever taking the Harvard Business course. It gives you a sense of how they talk about things, how they think about things, and how they help you think more deeply about negotiation. So, for example, the story here is the story of a player in the NHL who was one of the second most productive players. Let's see, Donald Fair, NHL's lead negotiator. I'll let you guys read through this and I'll put a link down in the bottom. But essentially what happens is there is a hockey player who wants to get the best deal for his game, and he ends up getting a killer salary because of some of the ways he's negotiated. During this program, they're going to tell you the story of how that negotiation unfolded. And they're going to give you some touch points where you can share what you would do in a particular situation and why you would do it. And then you can compare your actions or your thoughts with the actions that they were actually taken in this negotiation. And it's fun to see how they reached the result that they reached. So this is a great way to kind of get your feet wet, not necessarily have to pay for the course itself, but just to get a feel for how it is. Now, the negotiation mastery course is not going to turn you into an expert overnight, but what it will do is give you a really strong understanding of how negotiations work. Give you a strong sense of when you're even in a negotiation. And it can even help protect you from some of the dirty tricks in negotiating by giving you an awareness of what those are and how to protect yourself from them. So Negotiation Mastery by Harvard Business is a course that I definitely give 2 thumbs up for. I highly recommend taking it at any point in your career, unless you're already a negotiating expert. It's incredibly well done. You will walk away with lessons for a lifetime. You'll be able to negotiate better deals for yourself and for those around you.